really appreciate you coming on, my friend.
Well, thank you, Alex. I got to tell you something. Your subject matter is so important. I'm going to key off the word mind control. A little over a week ago, someone who works deep in the heart of the underground world of psychological operations for NORTHCOM, I ran into him on the streets of Bozeman. We had a 2-hour talk, and he was convinced that I was the guy that he had to talk to. But here's the deal. I want everyone to understand. You've been spending a lot of time and effort over the years talking about martial law. So have I. We've been getting all of the hits we've taken, and I don't care about the hits I'm taking, but here's what people better understand. On October 7th, we were within 2.5 minutes of going into full-scale martial law. The command and control general that was up as a 5-star general, okay, that whole guy was, he's known on the radio, I know who it is, but it's Lighthouse. When I talked to the gentleman who works deep underground, I asked him, I said to him, who is Lighthouse? He said, that is a command and control authority for martial law. I said, how close were we to martial law? I didn't volunteer the information. He said 2.5 minutes is where the countdown.
Let me stop you. This is not just Steve Quayle's opinion. Senator Inhofe of Oklahoma is on record on the news saying they were threatened with martial law October 3rd if they didn't pass the banker takeover. That was the receivership of the nation by the foreign banks. We've had 2 other congressmen on, House members, to tell you they were threatened with martial law. And now Bloomberg and AP reported 3 weeks ago. Headline, War Powers Act enacted by Federal Reserve. The Federal Reserve is now above even the executive.
Absolutely. And what people have got to understand, Alex, is they have, and I'm saying this, as they take in every breath they breathe, I want them to start making a conscious effort to realize that there are people that absolutely cannot wait. This gentleman that told me, high-ranking military officer, said, Steve, he said, the plans for martial law are so off the charts and so horrible. Now, understand, we're not talking about foreign invasion. He said, I'm having really severe problems, and he asked me quite candidly to keep him in prayer. But look, Alex, this is someone that I believe, look, you know how many calls you get, you know the different people that you count on, you can test the veracity of their information. How many witnesses? The Bible says the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses let every word be established. We get 2,000 or 3,000 witnesses, and you and I are supposedly making this stuff up so we can sell our books. And I got to tell everybody.
Well, Steve, I hope we sell our books to warn people so we can expand and fight this thing. But again, that's the mind game. But the point is, what is our message? What is the information? That's what's key. But I wish our books were selling as much as Harry Potter. We'd have this thing turned around. But let me just finish making this point and backing you up. They are on record. How many years? You've been on here 16, 17 years. Did you say there were quiet preparations for martial law and give the evidence? Now it's all declassified. Now they admit they're going to use foreign troops. Now it's in major publications. Now they're admitting troops on the streets, Marines running checkpoints. This is really happening. So the point is, it all happened.
Absolutely. And not only is it happening, see, it's not enough. Alex, people have got to understand this. I've got to tell this because this is really the thing that's burning in my heart, is you've got to turn off the television, the literal physical television, and you've got to start doing your due diligence and not just listening to Alex Jones or Steve Quayle or Hawk or whoever's out there warning, signing, basically signing our lives saying, look, this is really happening. We're not just telling you this for whatever reasons. By the way, I make no apologies, about having to do what I've got to do. You asked me earlier before we went on the air. I came back on my Monday show because I had turned my show over to 5 different guest hosts. I was trying to turn it over so that, I could give people the best, I guess you'd say, overview of everything going on from 5 different minds instead of mine, okay? Well, I'm back on Monday because, again, I've spent 15 years of my life, close to $500,000 out of my pocket to put, the best program that I can do, to complement all the other programs out there. And quite candidly, as you know, it's tough to get people that will carry your passion, carry your zeal, and carry the warning. And so what I've had to do, basically, and I've decided to do this, is to, in light of this fast-breaking concept that we're soon to be under total global domination, we have to basically speak up, yell, scream, kick, bite, and chew. And
because there may come a time very soon when we're all off the air and unable to do this. We have to prepare as if that's not going to happen, but also prepare for it to happen so that we continue to expand, fight the New World Order, but also make the personal preparations, all of us, to go to the next phase.
The operation is absolutely so planned out to the nth degree. And Alex, every day they have meetings and they discuss what I talk on my show, and I'm not flattering me or you, but they want to know how much we know. And every time we tell what we know, they plan around what we're telling the people. First of all, the internet's going down. The guy said, you must tell your listeners the internet's going down.
By the way, the inventor of the internet said Sunday in the BBC that it's, quote, dying because these systems by design aren't being repaired or upgraded, so they're going to claim it's a failure.
Absolutely, but let me say this, too. I've got now multiple reports of the black box jammers being given to selected communities. Now, I don't know the communities that they expect to have the most. Black box jammer is something that will cut all radio, all television. It cuts everything. And listen, in a 12-mile radius, okay?
So it's a wide spectrum jammer.
It's a wide spectrum jammer, and they have been handed out along with the individuals that know how to work with them. And
that's what the Russians used in Baghdad to jam cruise missiles.
Absolutely, but it's getting, and so people say, well, I'll just call Steve or Alex on my cell phone. No, you won't. Well, I'll just get on my landline. No, you won't. Well, I'll just get on the shortwave. No, you won't. The thing is, Alex, and this is something that I said to the gentleman that I was having a talk with. I said, so what are you doing? And he said, I'm buying, and this is his words. He said, I'm buying food. I'm buying the weapons to defend my family. And he said, I'm looking for a place, too, because he said,
but that's what I was going to say. What are they going to do when their own people walk off from NORAD and walk off from NORTHCOM and the police walk off to help their families? Then they bring in the foreign troops.
Then they bring in the foreign troops, and that's the other thing. He said, Steve, I'm seeing more and more foreign troops assigned to active duty U.S. troops stationed. And by the way, he said the 30,000 is a bunch of bunk.
And by the way, people laugh at this. 20% of the Army's illegal aliens they hired. The biggest recruiting centers are in Manila, Philippines, the Mexico City, Ukraine. And then it's in major papers. They've signed deals. Remember, Congress last year said we weren't told to use Canadian and Mexican troops in America. That was in the Toronto Star.
Absolutely. And we can no longer call them the shadow boys, okay? I don't know if you saw on Drudge, but they showed 5 presidents, including current president-elect, and all I wish that someone would have drawn in, or someone would draw in a cartoonist, is just the puppet strings going up above all of them with Illuminati, we own them all.
From Ohio, the only way they can pass this bill is by creating and sustaining a panic atmosphere. That atmosphere is not justified. Many of us were told in private conversations that if we voted against this bill on Monday, that the sky would fall, the market would drop 2,000 or 3,000 points the first day, another couple thousand the second day, and a few members were even told that there would be martial law in America if we voted no. That's what I call fear-mongering. Unjustified. Proven wrong. We've got a week, we've got 2 weeks to write a good bill. The only way to pass a bad bill, keep the panic pressure on.
You were called into the Oval Office on January 21st by the new president, whoever it happens to be. And he said to you, General Powell, I need from you your recommendation on where I begin. What should be my priorities? Where would you start?
I would start with talking to the American people and talking to the world and conveying a new image of American leadership, a new image of America's role in the world. The problems will always be there, and there's going to be a crisis come along, on the 21st or 22nd of January that we don't even know about right now.
Mark my words, it will not be 6 months before the world tests Barack Obama like they did John Kennedy. The world is looking. We're about to elect a brilliant 47-year-old president of the United States of America. Remember I said standing here, you don't remember anything else I said. Watch, we're going to have an international crisis, a generated crisis, to test the mettle of this guy. And he's going to have to make some really tough, I don't know what the decision's going to be, but I promise you it will occur. As a student of history, and having served with 7 presidents, I guarantee you it's going to happen. I can give you at least 4 or 5 scenarios from where it might originate.
Look, what's coming is so grim. It is so negative. It is so high up on the scale of confinement under martial law that we do not even have a sense from which we can grasp this. We've never had anything like it. It's coming. I put it 90 to 100, maybe 120 days out. My sources are telling me that every agency across the land is training. They are looking for civil unrest. They're looking for the moment when things tip and people say that's enough. We've gone through enough. We've lost our jobs. We've lost our homes. We've lost everything. And now we're being told we have to do this or that. We can't afford to do this. We must act back. We have to take this nation back. It's called republic building after they've totally destroyed this nation. And I tell you, Steve, I'm very, very pessimistic. However, the spirit of the American patriot is alive. There are many good men and women in the armed forces and in the police agencies that are out there that know of this. Jack McLam and others who are good friends of mine, but they've been talking about it. You've been talking about it. Alex has been talking about it. There's just a huge number of people on Patriot Radio that are getting the information out. What we need more than anything now is for people to pull their heads out of the sand and their uttermost parts and get with the program, because if they don't, they're going to be lost completely. I hope they aren't lost spiritually, but they're going to be lost in their efforts to prepare, and there simply will not be enough time. There won't be enough left to prepare with.